Hello, everyone. Hopefully, my audio is okay and not whatever it's called. So, I want to follow up on the huge story that Robert Kraft has been charged with 2 counts of solicitation for prostitution in, it looks like Juniper, Florida. I'm not going to try to tell the entire. I mean, this is like a 6 month investigation that's like highly, extremely complicated. And I saw this after I made my video, just like an hour or so later after in the day when I was reading the story, and I wasn't sure if I read it right. It just didn't make sense to me, but, it is correct that, let me just get right to the point. Here's, supposedly, there's 25 people they have charged for this particular spa, I believe, or it's the Juniper Police Chief, the Juniper Police Department, okay, which I think also is inside of Martin County. There's multiple law enforcement agencies here, There's Palm Beach County, there's Juniper Police Department, the UPI. I don't even know what the UPI is. And that's when I first saw this. This is the first story about Robert Kraft being arrested over at the Daily Mail that, I was working from other sources. But this one says, according to UPI's Al Butler, Kraft is not the biggest name involved in the case. Which, when I saw that, I was like, whoa, Well, I mean, first off, Robert Kraft is huge, okay? And I saw over here at CNN that another high-profile person is I think part of the 25, who's also Robert Kraft is denying this through his attorney, but they're not making any other statement other than because this is a law enforcement matter. They're denying it, and they're gonna go through the legal process. And it's the Orchids of Asia Day Spa in Juniper, Florida, that we're talking about. There's 10 different spas that were shut down. This human trafficking ring, tied to a human trafficking ring that's been investigated since October 2018. I don't even know how many months that is. Almost 6 months. So there's another high-profile person that's named in the CNN report, John Childs, who's a huge billionaire, from a CEO of a private equity firm, J.W. Childs Associates, and he's, I think, worth like 1.6 billion. I quickly looked him up, and I didn't recognize him, but he's a huge billionaire. But it's still was 1.6 billion. Robert Kraft is worth 6.6 billion. He's just a monster, in terms of high profile and extreme wealth. So, I mean, my point is I don't think this is the name bigger than Robert Kraft. It's like, who is bigger than Robert Kraft? I guess it could be an athlete, or it could be somebody else. I can speculate, believe me, and I have like three possibilities that I'm not going to name, but and this is coming from a very plugged-in reporter, Adam Schefter. Who, darn, should have been better prepared for this, but I just kind of want to just get into it, man, because, like I said, this is like, it's a really complicated investigation, massive. Like, this is from the day before. This is, I think, the press conference they gave yesterday, basically introducing this giant investigation where 173 people are facing charges ranging from human trafficking to racketeering to solicitation of prostitution. Okay, 165 men accused of paying for sex acts have been arrested as of Thursday night. Many are from Brevard and St. Lucia counties. They range in ages from 19 to 84, and they have 85 different pictures of people that have been charged with solicitation of prostitution. This goes through the major players in the human trafficking ring, or the alleged human trafficking ring. It goes through a lot of the investigation in terms of some of the accusations, how the women were held against their will, transported from one spa to the next. You know, how the operation worked. I think it was 400 for you know, full-on intercourse, 200 for oral sex, and 100 for 100 for, you know, the third kind. So you know, and over at CNN, I mean, they've said that at least in Robert Kraft's, according to law enforcement, at least in Robert Kraft's situation, that they have surveillance footage of it. They seem very confident in their case to bring charges, and so. But it says police said Kraft visited Orchids of Asia Day Spa in Jupiter, Florida, twice. Video footage shows him receiving, quote, paid acts in a room at the spa, and surveillance video shows him being driven to the spa. Police Chief Daniel Kerr said Friday. Authorities said they wouldn't immediately release video or documentation. A spokeswoman for Kraft has denied that he committed a crime. We categorically deny that Mr. Kraft engaged in any illegal activity because it's judicial matter. We will not be commenting further, the spokesperson said. Okay, but back over to this ESPN reporter. You know, he's basically saying this is far from over, and that this is going to get this could get real hairy. You know, over the, you know, soon. He's like, this story is going to heat up and get a lot worse. This is Adam Schefter, the ESPN reporter. This story is going to heat up and get a lot worse. I don't mean involving Robert Kraft. I'm talking about with all the human trafficking that has gone on down there. I'm also told that Robert Kraft is not the biggest name involved down there in South Florida, and we will see what police turn up in the report. I mean, who is bigger than Robert Kraft? I mean, the guy's the owner of the Patriots, Super Bowl champs, and I think actually I was wrong about that. They didn't tie the Steelers' records. I think they beat the Steelers' record. You know, most winning team probably in NFL history. And he's, you know, NFL is going to get involved in this, even when in situations like this they can levy punishment and stuff. And I don't know all the specifics, but so Kraft was charged with 2 counts of soliciting prostitution on Friday, amid investigations into a series of massage parlors suspected of international sex trafficking. As Schefter broke down the news on ESPN SportsCenter, he said local sources have told him it's possible Kraft is not the only notable figure on the police's list of solicitation suspects. That's not. I mean, it's just the fact that he's not the biggest. You know, it's just who's bigger than Robert Kraft. So, and you know, I think I mentioned in my previous video, and everyone knows that Trump and Kraft are they're very friendly, and I think in Trump's Face to the Nation interview on Super Bowl Sunday, if I recall, you know, he mentions Robert Kraft and that he's a friend of his and that he's rooting for him, you know, and it comes up in the Daily Mail piece because it says, you know, where am I? Like I said up here at the very beginning of this article, it tells you that this is it spans from Indian River County. Agencies issued warrants. Vero Beach Police Chief, 10 spas. Here we go. 10 spas from the Orlando area through the Treasure Coast into Palm Beach County were shut down Tuesday as law enforcement began making arrests. So this began on Tuesday, the shutting down of the 10 spas, you know, from Orlando to Treasure Coast into Palm Beach County. I don't know where Juniper, Florida is. I think it's in Palm Beach County. I think. So, I don't know. I don't want to misstate. I don't know where I don't know where Robert Kraft has if he has a house in Florida. I'm assuming he does. But it goes on to talk about, that he and Trump, that he's been criticized for being supportive of Trump. Kraft has drawn criticism in recent years for his support of President Donald Trump, who also has a residence in Palm Beach, Florida. Is that the same as Palm Beach County? I don't know. Let's check it out. I don't know if it is. Palm Beach. What about Juniper, Florida? So, I think this is going to heat up, and we should. It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I don't know why the 25 are this is really a massive investigation, and why the 25 are separate from the 173, or I think it was 160 something that were arrested for soliciting prostitution. But so, of the 25, you got Robert Kraft, the other billionaire, who's the private equity CEO. I think John Childs was his name, but who's bigger than Robert Kraft? That's what this video is about. And, I don't know, man. I assume that name's going to drop pretty soon, man. And you should see the press conferences, the authorities, and there's so many different law enforcement, local sheriff's departments as well as the counties. But they seem very confident in their case, and it's just so wide ranging, All right, well, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and I will see you in the next video. That's the reporter right there. I was just seeing if he tweeted anything new, and he hasn't yet. Later, man.